Muhammad Aslam, what are you doing? Okay. So the ryanodine receptor is a receptor which is present in the muscle, and if it is abnormal, lot of calcium will be released by halothane, and that causes excessive contraction. That excessive contraction of the muscles, which is called malignant hyperthermia. And this malignant hyperthermia causes excessive body temperature. So in those cases, body has to be cooled with the cold mops, and bicarbonate to be infused, and the person has to be rested and relaxed. Prolonged labor can occur. So these are all the adverse effects of the halothane. Enflurane. Enflurane is a non-inflammable with mild sweet odor and boils at 7 degrees centigrade. It is similar to halothane in action, except better muscular relaxation. Depresses myocardial force of contraction and sensitizes the heart to adrenaline. It induces seizure in deep anesthesia and therefore not used now. Epileptiform EEG. Metabolism, 1/10 that of the halothane, does not release hepatotoxic metabolites. Metabolism releases fluoride ion, renal toxicity can occur. Isoflurane, routinely used anesthetic all over. So isoflurane is the most commonly used, routinely used anesthetic all over. Remember that. Okay. Most of the OTs, they use isoflurane as the routine commonly used anesthetic. Isomer of enflurane and have similar properties but slightly more potent. Induction dose is 1.5 to 3%. Note this with the nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide you need 70 to 80%. But in isoflurane 1.5 to 3% is sufficient, and maintenance dose is 1 to 2% by special vaporizer. Advantages of isoflurane. Advantages: rapid induction and recovery, good muscle relaxation, good coronary vasodilation, less myocardial depression, no myocardial sensitization to adrenaline, no renal or hepatotoxicity, low nausea and vomiting, no dilatation of pupil and loss of light reflex in deep anesthesia, no seizure and preferred in neurosurgery, uterine muscle relaxation. So these are all the advantages of the isoflurane. So myocardial depression is very less. You contrast that with halothane, where the myocardial depression and even the CNS depression is very high. But in the isoflurane, this myocardial depression is less. Disadvantages: pungent and respiratory irritant, special apparatus required, respiratory depression, beta adrenergic receptor stimulation, and this is very costly. Isoflurane is most sophisticated anesthetic agent, therefore it is very costly. So with this, we complete stage 1 of the general anesthesia. I repeat, anesthetic agents are the one which will cause the person to put in sleep or loss of consciousness, absence of painful stimuli, muscle paralysis, and loss of reflexes. All ascending, descending, and reflex limbs, everything along with consciousness. All the four, if they are gone, you classify that agent as an anesthetic, general anesthetic. A general anesthetic. Now, when regard to the general anesthetic, you need to know minimum alveolar concentration. That is the minimum concentration in the alveolar concentration that is required to induce anesthesia or loss of sensation to painful stimuli in 50% of the individuals. So that is called as minimum alveolar concentration. And what are the drugs that are commonly available? So the older one is the ether, then the newer ones are the halothane, isoflurane, desflurane, enflurane, and the gases are the nitrous oxide. Okay, these are also gases only. Gas is the nitrous oxide, and the liquids you will study in the next class. So this is the agent. Now, with regard to general anesthesia, the most common general anesthesia used is isoflurane. Isoflurane is very sophisticated. It is very sensitive. It causes lesser CNS depression, CVS depression. It's a very beautiful drug. That is isoflurane. Halothane is a little bit earlier congener. Halothane causes myocardial depression, CNS depression, and then it induces the heart to antiarrhythmic potential. So therefore, halothane is not used nowadays. However, in some cases, it is used along with nitrous oxide, where 70 to 80% of nitrous oxide is used, some 20 to 25 to 30% of the oxygen is used, and 0.2 to 2% of halothane can be used. That combination gives a very good muscle relaxation because nitrous oxide is a very good muscle relaxant and loss of consciousness, and therefore a good anesthesia. The classical stages of anesthesia are described with ether. Okay, ether has 4 classical stages of anesthesia. Stage 1 is loss of consciousness. Stage 2, loss of consciousness to onset of regular breathing. Stage 3 is loss of reflexes, and stage 4 is deep anesthesia. Stage 3 has further 4 planes depending on the eye movement, eye dilation of the pupil, and things like that. So this ether's 4 stages of anesthesia is only of historical value, only to study the depth of anesthesia. However, in the modern times, that kind of a classical anesthesia is not seen. Okay, so say for example, it is gone more to do with the signs, observed signs. Say for example, if there is resistance to passive respiration, if there is resistance to passive respiration, if there is a cough with the endotracheal intubation, secretions, that means the depth of anesthesia has not reached to the surgical level. Okay, so that way you need to assess, and if the pupils are completely dilated and there is a lot of light reflex, that again indicates a good depth of anesthesia. And but if the painful stimuli to the orbit and the upper part of the nose is persisting, that again says it is as anesthesia depth is not sufficient. So classical stages of ether anesthesia, how the modern days we assess the stages of anesthesia, these 2 things you need to keep in mind. Then comes the minimum alveolar concentration, the term to describe the depth of the or the strength of the anesthetic agent, and then reverse hypoxia or the diffusional hypoxia. So for this happens only with the agents which are required to be infused at very high concentration, mainly the nitrous oxide. 70 to 80% of the nitrous oxide is infused. So it washes away all the air in the alveoli and it fills itself and it diffuses into the blood. Now, after anesthesia, during recovery, when the infusion of the nitrous oxide is stopped, nitrous oxide back diffuses. And this nitrous oxide, when it back diffuses, there is no oxygen left in the alveoli for the body to absorb. So that causes hypoxia, diffusion, hypoxia. These two can be short notes: diffusion, hypoxia. Now, among the modern drugs, isoflurane is the best. Sevoflurane can be used. Sevoflurane also can be used. That also induces a good anesthesia. But these two drugs are very costly. They require very sophisticated systems for administration. Therefore, the general or acceptable combination is nitrous oxide plus oxygen plus halothane. That's the acceptable one. But for the more refined surgeries, you go for isoflurane, where the neuronal excitation is also less and myocardial depression is also less. So, is this clear? At least the major concepts, were you able to capture?
Yes, sir.
Yes. One voice for 50 participants. What about others? Others, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. So the major critical concepts you are able to identify: the ether stages, minimum alveolar concentration, diffusion hypoxia, second gas effect, isoflurane as the main agent, then nitrous oxide. This much if you retain and you read now, starting from now only, you start reading it. So it will be registered in your mind. Okay. So do read about the general anesthesia before your part 2 class occurs. You read your part 2 also, so that you will be able to grasp much better. When you read and be prepared, then you listen to the class, you can grasp much more. Okay, so any doubts, any queries, questions? Any doubts, anybody? If there are no doubts, have a nice day. Take care. I'll be stopping the streaming.
Thank you, sir.
You, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.